What will make you instantly stop watching a movie or show and why? Love triangles out of nowhere in a second or third season to spice things up, because studio writers are hacks and their idea of relationship drama is potential infidelity, at all times. It's the most tired trope on the goddamn planet, and the second I see it rear its head I dip right the hell out. Fight scenes with a million visual cuts. When couples in a movie, show have a fight and one of them instantly goes to a friend and end up kissing him after talking for 5 minutes. I cringe so hard I turn it off and never watch it again. If the movie is too dark, not graphic, just literally dark, I lose all sense of intensity in dark scenes, and I'm not straining my damn eyes trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Shows where a single polite conversation could fix everything. Annoying main character, especially if it's a kid. When they go straight to relationship drama right away when it wasn't the selling point of the show. Shows where kids in high school talk like they are 30 years olds who have done everything, been everywhere, know it all, and use a ridiculously flowery and extensive vocabulary in every conversation. Like, have any of these writers ever been to high school? Literally no one talks like that. Even worse is when, in addition to this, all the adults talk normal or are just plain stupid. Like so weird parallel universe. If I start asking the question, why would anyone behave like this ever? And the only answer can be, because the plot demands it. Shaky cam. I hate not being able to see the action because the camera's shaking or the cuts are too quick. Bad editing would be a big one. A lot of modern horror movies can't help but edit the movies like they're trailers, with added noises to scare the audience because they are afraid the script alone isn't enough to keep people watching. If they start using dialogue to explain the plot, basically, any unnatural conversation that would never happen in real life. Substantial amounts of cringy teenage drama. Looking at you, Resident Evil on Netflix. Couldn't even finish the first episode. Crap acting. I don't have enough imagination to compensate for bad acting. Love triangles. Ugh, I hate them so much. That's why I can't watch most of the K-dramas. Hacking scenes. I'm no hacker, but any IT person has an idea of how those things work. Sometimes it's okay if you can tell that the writers did some research. Power goes out. Unnecessary romance. Lack of closed captioning, or if the captioning is very laggy or grossly misspelling words. I'm hard of hearing and refuse to jack up the volume just to hear it. And sometimes some movies are very dim, dark, so lip reading isn't always an option. Bad writing. Writing a plot that is entirely dependent on the characters making poor decisions and avoiding obvious solutions. Getting challenged not by anything external, just by their own stupidity. It's boring as hell to watch, and it takes any interest I had in characters and zeroes it out when it is obviously a rip-off of another show or movie. Everything is a little derivative, but some stuff pushes it way too far. Overly dramatic scenes. I dropped The Walking Dead a few seasons in because of this. If I've watched like 5 episodes and still can't get into it. When the main conflict is due to misunderstanding between the characters which they could have just resolved by talking to each other. It happens a lot in romance, drama movies and annoys the shit out of me. Especially when it's super petty misunderstandings that lead to huge dramatic conflict. Forced romance or unnecessary sex scenes. I will admit the Halo show wasn't great, but it had just enough to keep me interested. And then that sex scene happened and I lost all hope in the show being redeemable. Laugh tracks. Not sure why, I just can't stand them. As soon as the writers stop finishing story arcs BC there are too many to address. See Lost Season 3. If two characters who haven't seen each other since childhood establish that they were close friends by singing or chanting something, I either fast forward or shut it off. If there isn't a single sympathetic character, overusing the laugh track, so annoying. When there is a mid-20s adult playing a 16-year-old. Torture scenes, call me nuts. But I hate watching people tortured, particularly if it involves them being maimed. I can't handle torture movies like Saw and Hostel. Infidelity ruins a light-hearted comedy for me. Excessive crying, poor CGI, excessive cringe humor. Oh, and Jared Leto, let's not forget him. Lazy. Cheap humor. And I mean lazy. Predictable setups and juvenile punchlines. I watched the first few minutes of the first episode of Two Broke Girls. It felt like it was written by two 14-year-old boys. I wanted to muddle through because of Kat Dennings, but no. Couldn't do it. Same for the one episode of 2.5 Men. Good God. Both the writing and the performances were phoned in. Jared Leto, because it's Jared fucking Leto. Badly written women at both ends of the scale, having a woman that is able to throw around a henchman that is 3 times her weight and half again her size is exactly as bad as having her be utterly helpless in the face of any threat. It smacks of cowardice to not have any weakness in a women character and smack of stupidity to have no strength as well. Animal killing. Baby killing. Sure, that happens in real life sometimes. But I don't have to watch it. TV shows or movies that are based on novels or video games and completely go off the rail with regards to characters and lore. When one of the characters wakes up and it was all a dream. No thanks. When characters think they can reason with the antagonist who's been described as a murderous psychopath, or a crazed madman, or something. Too many sex scenes, seriously. I get it. People have sex. But I hate seeing it every episode when I can just have it alluded to instead. Just makes me feel like I'm imposing on something. Inept dad. Fuck that stereotype. Too many jump cuts. I feel like I'm about to have a seizure watching that shit. Poorly written script. If Master Chief takes off his helmet in the first episode, a sexual assault scene that adds nothing to the story, I actually feel sick when I see it and can't watch the show or movie. When the film is completely lecturing me about something, even about something I agree with, I don't mind being challenged on ideas, but when the movie is really condescending while doing so, it makes me stop watching immediately. When the main character makes an obvious dumb decision to create drama, move the plot along. Just watched The Northman on a flight. The dude kills a bunch of people and is on the run, but sends his girlfriend back to the village where he killed instead of running away with him. Of course they capture her right away and he has to save her. Main character, love interest cheating on their partner. Just kills the mood for me. Unneeded sex scenes. I also hate those poorly edited slow-mo shots. Constant gratuitous sex scenes. I'm a grown man who has seen plenty of boobs and has internet access. It's what killed Banshee for me. Decent story, but every woman he saw we had to see her fucking him. It felt like I was being pandered to. Like I couldn't just watch for a story and I needed boobs to keep interested. It's childish. Any cruelty to animals. James Corden, Tim Wanacott, Piers Morgan. A veritable trinity of twattishness. 90 pounds actress assassin capable of taking on hand-to-hand combat with The Rock. I hate loud obnoxious sexual humor, at best. I find it boring. And sometimes it's just aggravating. It's the main thing that's kept me from watching Big Mouth. I've tried to watch it and just couldn't stand it. And the fact that they're kids just makes it so much worse. It's also partially what ruined the Michael Bay Transformers movies for me. All of those sexual scenes made me super uncomfortable as a kid that just wanted to watch robots fight. Edit. Mixed up Big Mouth for loud mouth. Killing a dog or animal in a cruel, disturbing way. Not like hunting for food but just something awful. Graphic sexual violence. I can't do it. Animal cruelty. Just awful. When the volume is FK'd, if I have to strain to hear the dialogue. And then am almost deaf from the action. Car. Background noise. I'm done. Love triangles. Cheating that is considered acceptable.